Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells it all regarding family court, other court issues, as well as CPS. I'm your host, Marianne Petrie. I do have a return guest back on. I have Marineka Bowman. The last time she was on was December 10th, 2022, where we talked about an ex parte motion denying her daughter to see her on Christmas Day and child psychological abuse by the courts. Marineka was last on Season 3, episodes 104, 131, 159, 160, and 174. I welcome Marineka back to the show because we have an incident where Marineka was seeing her daughter at a supervised visit. And bear in mind, none of this should be happening to begin with. And we're going to talk about a song her daughter was singing to her. And it has two connotations to it, however you want to take it. But Marineka, welcome back.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to be seen in video? Because I can't see you.
Yes. Why? It's not okay.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Yes, sorry. I didn't realize that I had it off.
I didn't either.
Yes, I'm
but
sorry.
Welcome back.
Yes.
When was the supervised visit?
I never went to the supervised visit. It was scheduled from the ex parte on the for the ex parte, which was held on December 5th. Mm-hmm. That's the decision the judge came up with because of the reasoning that why the motion was called to begin with. I'll never know. Mm-hmm. Why they called for the ex parte in the beginning. I could repeat why the ex parte was called. The reason that they gave was because I was I'm involved in the podcast, which is freedom of speech, is the amendment. Freedom of speech. I can free to talk and express myself. Mm-hmm. And also, one thing I'm glad that we could do in this, they did say that I took my daughter to the hospital and told the doctor that she was punched in her head. Yes, I did mention that to the doctor while we were at the visit, but that's not what the reason my daughter was taken to the hospital. My daughter was getting fever. I think it was this was going on like early November. She was constantly getting high fevers for like on and off for 2 weeks. The fever was running to 104 to 105. So I took her to the hospital 4 o'clock in the morning that morning. And she first got to the hospital because of the fever, not because just I jumped out my bed 4 o'clock in the morning to go and tell the nurses and the doctors near Morris that her dad punched her in her head. But, you know, they want to falsify this information to suit the narrative of yes. me being mental, because that's the next thing they wrote, that the gal and his lawyer Laura Brooks think that I'm mental, and the attorney went along with that. Mm-hmm. And what else? The state and the and again this the supervised visit for because I'm refusing to do counseling. The counseling is not court order. I want to let people know the counseling is not court order. And this woman that they want me to see originally was supposed to see my daughter, not me. She's not even a child psychologist. She's not a psychologist. But you see, they want me to go to her so she could write and to their narrative that I'm mental. But I'm not going to participate in none of those things. So of course, that's how the supervised visit come in. Mm-hmm. Because of these 4 reasoning. So they want me to visit at a center for 2 days for 60 minutes. But they don't understand. The judge don't understand the damage that she's doing. And I don't think she cares anyway, because she's more concerned of being vindictive. Mm-hmm. She's malicious. She's diabolical. She have no feelings. And that's all good. You know, that's all good what they're doing, because, you know, they think when they do this, it will get me all bent out of shape and, you know, act all crazy. Like they want to portray that I'm crazy. But I'm going to pray. And I am praying, you know, because I know, like I said, mentioned to you earlier, we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers and wickedness in high places. And all of these people that conspire together to separate me from my child. Mm-hmm. they are going to feel the wrath of God in not the name, but in Jesus' name. They're all going to be removed from our lives completely, including the father, completely. In not the name, but in Jesus' name. They will be removed. But yes, the counselor, Christine Hines, she had insinuated that I need to do counseling because I have issues bonding with my child. But you can play the song the week before the 5th, when this decision was made. I pick her up the Wednesday, and for that entire weekend that I had her, I think from that week was a short week. I had her from Wednesday to Friday, 6:00. Wednesday 6:00 to Friday 6:00. And when I pick her up Wednesday, she had this sad
affect.
Yes. And all she wanted to do, she was very clingy, and she keeps singing to me, singing all this different song where mommy goes, and she keep praying that wherever she goes, or wherever I go, and wherever I am for Christmas, she's let me know that she's gonna be with me, and she loved me, and she prayed that God protect me, and that's what she kept doing from Wednesday to Friday. And she made up this song that you're gonna play. So I'm gonna let you play the song that she made up. And if my child had any issue bonding with me, or loving me, or being loved by me, would she have made this song? So,
excellent. Okay, I'm going to play this right now.
yes. And that's her own words. Nobody didn't tell her. I just want everybody, nobody did not tell her what to say. I tried to help her along with the song, and she was like, shh, I want to do this by myself. And I said, okay. So play the song.
Okay.
I see you there, wherever goes, where mommy goes, wherever I will be, if I'm gone from you, I'll still be with you. Wherever I will be, there to protect you. I'll be there to protect you, because God will protect you. Because God will love you forever. And God will love you and protect you wherever you're going to be too, Gavel. That is so sweet. You feel that mommy's going to go away and leave you? Since yesterday, you keep praying and ask God to protect me wherever I'm going to be and wherever you're going to be. You feeling something in your heart? What are you feeling in your heart? In my heart, I feel like I want to sing. In your heart, you feel like you want to sing about it? Okay. I see you there, wherever I will be. I'll be there to be. I'll be there, love. I see you there. Wherever I will be, wherever I go, you always come with me, because you are my child, and I love you, because you are so sweet, and you love me more than you ever had. Oh, that is so sweet. That is so sweet. Okay, now turn the video off. I want to see.
that is very, I don't, you could take this song two ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what is bothering me, because family court destroys. And
Yes.
parents need to know before they walk into these doors of so-called family court that they're going to destroy your family.
But the thing is, like I said, the father left when she was 2 months, and the first set of visit that he was getting, he asked for his 2 hours, and even to that he wasn't consistent. And then in 2019, when I went for the passport, he started making all these allegations, and I don't want him to see the child, and don't want him to talk to the child. Lied. And he moved from 2 hours to weekends, and it was a disaster. Yes. So, like I said, to sum it up all, it didn't even have to come to this, because I never stopped him from seeing her, regardless that, he was basically an absentee father physically, right? But because now he wants for his own benefits, or whoever pushing him, or whatever his aim is, you put this child through so much when you didn't have to, because I never refused for him to see his child. Never. And then never refused to let none of his family see her either. They never reached out. Since we separated in 2018, none of his family reached out to me, even to 2018, when he left, 2017, early 2018, he left January 2018. The first week in January, he left the house when she was 2 months. And up to then, none of his family, from then to now, none of his family contacted me. None of them reached out even to see her when he wasn't visiting. None of them. So it's not a situation like this child was held, kept from him, or it was a struggle with my family and his family, or it was nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. So for him to come now and putting this child through so much when you don't even have to do it, and not thinking of how you're affecting her, but all you care about that you hurt me. And then the judge too, and then the counselor Christine Hines, and is when I think about his lawyer, Laura Brooks, she's dysfunctional, and I pray to God that she will lose her license, that she get disbarred from being a lawyer, especially a family lawyer, because she's going to continue to destroy people's family. And the judge, she should be uprooted from that bench in no other name but in Jesus' name. I am telling you, I don't wish bad for people lose the job. I don't pray for nobody lose the job, but all of them need to be removed from their position. And I'm going to pray it. I am going to pray. It's not going to happen immediately, but I know God is going to move them.
Because they are child abusers. They are psychological child abusers. And it was written in the APA in 2014 that child psychological abuse is worse than sexual abuse and physical abuse combined. And this judge doesn't care. The opposing attorney doesn't care, because they are child psychological abusers.
Yes. And I want to bring something to light, because people are going to say, why you don't want to go and visit your daughter at the center? Why I'm not going to visit her? Because going to the center is going to open up old wounds that was never healed, that was never addressed. When, like I said, he left when she was 2 months. He came back when he started doing weekends, when the judge gave him weekends from 2 hours, which he wasn't consistent, and she gave him weekends, overnight weekends. And this child never spent more than 2 hours overnight weekends. She didn't know the family that well. She didn't know them. Every time it was a scream. I am telling you, my daughter would scream from the top of her lungs. I used to wonder how come none of the police officers at that center never came outside. Even when we was inside in the lobby, my child would scream and scream and scream and scream. Oh Lord, I am scared. And nobody would intervene. Then when she come back home, let me tell you what I had to deal with. I could not leave her with anybody but my friend, the guy. That's only him she would stay with. And she had her moments. Depends on how she feels, she would stay with him. But most of the time, he was the only person that I could have, she would stay with. Either me or him. I could not go and take a shower, you know, without my daughter losing her mind, like I'm going away and leave her. One time I could remember, I went to the kitchen because I have a split family. It's not high level, just a short level, but it's split. So I left. She and I was watching television in my room, and I went downstairs to get a drink of water. And she didn't realize that I got up from the bed. Marianne, my child is six to eight flights treaders. She jumped from the top straight down to the bottom like she was Superwoman. With such a fright and scream, petrified, terrified. And I was like, what happened? You see something? She said she thought I was going to leave her. I could not leave her with anybody. I leave her to my mom. One time I leave her with my mom. In the supermarket. The car window was closed, cold. And I could hear in the supermarket, hear my child screaming for me because I just wanted to run in quick for something and come back. She did not want to lose sight of me. She did not. So it gets so bad that I had to tell her, Mommy's going to take a shower. You want to come to the bathroom? And she would say yes. She said, could I bring my toys and play on the bathroom floor till you finish taking a shower? And she would bring the whole, she had a trolley and she would pack a whole bunch of stuff like I'm going to live in the bathroom. And she would bring it in the bathroom. And I had to tell her, Mommy's going to the kitchen. Do you want to come? I'm just going for a cup of water. And she would think. I had to tell her to assure her that I'm not leaving her. So now I bring up all of that in court before. And the dysfunctional lawyer, Laura Brooks, keeps saying that I'm making up things, that I'm putting stuff in my daughter's head, that I'm making up all these things. And the judge went along with it. And I asked, I said, could my daughter see a counselor? Could she see a counselor? I begged for a whole year. They never give her. Never give her. Now you give her a counselor that is drug and alcohol, that's doing stuff that is benefiting you and not benefiting what really bothered my daughter. Just because going along by what the father's saying to suit his narrative. But I had a hard time. I could not get nobody to babysit my daughter. She would not stay with anybody. One time, I think my friend gets so, I had this part-time job, and he drove around maybe for like 4 hours with my daughter because she would not stop screaming. And he was like, listen, you need to leave work. I tried my best. I tried my best. And mind you, that's the only person besides me she would stay with. But that day she wasn't having it for some reason. And I had to leave work. And this went on for months. You know how that affected me and affected her? And that was never addressed. So now you made this decision that she is going to visit me for 60 minutes at the center. You could imagine what's going to happen. She at that time when she was had those behaviors, she was only 2.5. Now she's 5. And my daughter used to fight you every time when she know that she is going to see her father. She would fight you. She would go under the table. She would go under the chair. It was a fight. And next thing, she did not want to go in my car because she associated my car with always going to drop her off with her dad. I could not go to the supermarket. And no matter how I tried to convince her, we're not going to visit. We're just going to the supermarket. We're going to the store. She would not go with me. It was a fight. So now I had to get my friend. I said, listen, on your days off, that's the days I'm going to do my grocery. So that's what I had to do until she get used. Not every time, until she get used and understand that not every time you go into my car, I'm going to drop you off. So none of this was addressed. None of this was addressed because they keep this notion that I am mental and I am just making up stuff. I am putting stuff in this child's head and this child don't have this type of behavior and all of this stuff. And it was never addressed. She never seen a counselor for this. Nobody helped her. No. But just because the judge went along with the attorney, Laura Brooks. What they're doing, they have done so much damage to my child. So, and they continue to damage. And they think they're doing something good. They think they're doing something good. So my prayer could never be for them to remove from the bench, the judge remove from the bench, and all of these other people who conspire, the doctors, the lawyers, the nurses, whomever, that they would not have a position. I know I can't change what is happening to my child, but me speaking out on this, I pray that they bring awareness to Delaware. People pay attention when they go to court and choose to make different decisions with their children. And don't be afraid to stand up. And I pray that this open up the door that no other mother or father would experience this in Delaware Family Court. And I pray too, with me speaking out, that all of Laura Brooks' caseload be removed from Natalie Haskins as long as she's a judge. The two of them should not be coming in together. They're too much of a friends. They're too much friendship. They're too much commonality. And like they have a thing that we used to say in corrections, when people stay too long in a position, they get too comfortable and complacent. This judge was my judge from since 2018 when I divorced. So now she's taking things personal, too personal. Every 4 years or every 2 or 3 years, these cases should be shuffled to a different judge if people keep going back and forth. And they should not be encouraging people or no parent to keep going back and forth in court, and they don't have no sufficient evidence or no different evidence or not a new case. But you see, they wouldn't do that because it's all money for them. That's what I come to realize. It's all a money thing. And it's money. The gal is getting money. The lawyers are getting money because I've spent so much money, and this situation I've never resolved, especially with the judge, when it could have stopped with her. This attorney keep carrying all this frivolousness. Like now she said, you take my child away from me because I went to the hospital and say my daughter was punching her head by her dad. Who would get up 4 o'clock in the morning and do that? Who would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the hospital and do that? But they just falsify that information to suit their narrative. And I was reading something on Facebook, somebody recap from 2010. The amount of family lawyers that gotten murdered either by their own clients or the opposition. And people take these things for granted. It's not like I said I'm going to kill anybody. But these things that they don't know people's mindset. They don't know people's mind. And when you keep playing with people's mind to the point that you take everything from them, these things happen, and they're taking things for granted. And they're making this decision and don't know how parents is going to act. And I was following this story, this guy from Arlington, Texas, that the children mom or his child mom just killed him, Tyrone Darling, that got murdered when his mother said all he wanted to do is see his kids. You taking people from their children like that. And these are things that you're setting up. These are situations that you're setting up. The family court set up these domestic violence situations. I could remember very well in one of my hearing when the judge moved, the same judge, Natalie Haskins, moved to pick up and drop off from the precinct to my house, even though I said I live alone. I am scared. They make my house a thoroughfare for his friends, the private detective and whomever he had coming at my house, right? And when he went back and lied and said that I'm being a problem, I was glad. I didn't even challenge it because I wanted that visit to move from my house. Right? But yes, but I just want us to come back on the psychological yes, I just want to talk about the psychological effect the situation is going to have on my daughter. I can't even imagine how she's feeling. You could imagine that she foresee to give me that message in a prayer and in a song. You could imagine what you're doing to that child. Could she sit down as a mother, as a person, put aside being a judge, put aside being a lawyer, put aside being a counselor, a mother, a woman, for hear a child sing a song? It's not like nobody tell her to sing that song. And you could see that she foresee it. She's warning me, but mommy, I'm not going to be with you for Christmas. And I pray that God protect you. And know that I love you and know that I'm going to always be with you.
And I know you and I had talked earlier, and this song that she sang almost has a sinister undertone to it, like something could happen to you.
Yes, yes.
Or because even her.
Yes. Yes. And you know, one thing I never talk on this podcast, with all the abuse, with all the evidence of abuse that coming from the father, and you give me supervised visit and not him, you still, actually the judge made it clear that she's not going to change the order from sole custody without examining the evidence and the fact that this child is being abused at the father's house. Right? You still give him full more authority, more power now that she can't come to me. So she had me as that buffer, that one person who's speaking up and pointing out all these marks that everybody turn a blind eye to. So it's not only psychologically she's affecting my child, she put her in more harm's way to be abused even further. Mm-hmm. Physically, emotionally, mentally.
And this is also a form of human trafficking.
Yes. And I could remember one time my daughter came and I saw her in the bathroom looking down at herself. And I said, what you doing? She's looking to see if her vagina is still red. Why are you looking to see if your vagina is red? Somebody touch you? No. But why are you looking to see if it's red? Mm-hmm. Why? Why a 5-year-old examine themselves to see why if the vagina is still red? And everything that turn a blind eye and a blind ears too. But anything happened to my child, at least I come on this podcast and I spoke about it. So anything happened in line of anything that I'm speaking about, they can't run from it because I said it. Mm-hmm. And you know what is scary, Marianne, that I never talked about? With all the abuse was going on, and I said, my biggest fear that I was living in for months, I said, if they only take my child from me, I am so scared that one day I'm going to get a phone call that she died. And that's not something any parent should live with, to think that they can get that phone call.
Mm. I'm so sorry.
That the child is deceased. For months, I had this in my head. I said, Father God, please don't let it take my child. Because I am afraid that one day I'm going to hear my child is dead. That is not nothing for no parent to live with. I don't know how these people could live with themselves.
What happens?
But you see, they make all these decisions. Mm-hmm. And they think that I'm going to act all bent out of shape and act crazy. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. I am not going to give them that satisfaction. Because this could have gone so many ways. So many ways. If I was really a crazy person and my mind was not right and my mind was unstable, this could have gone so many ways. Mm-hmm. I am a trained officer. And they better ask in the police, they used to call me Mosquito because I never miss a shot. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take nobody's life, but I'm going to pray for them. I really am going to seriously pray for them. I'm going to pray that they all be removed from their positions. They don't. I can't change what they're doing to my child. I can't change what the father is doing because I blame him too. Mm-hmm. Because as a father, you're supposed to protect. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to care. You're supposed to love. And this is the next thing my daughter pointed out to me. She said her father don't ever tell her that he loves her. He don't hug her. He don't kiss her. You know, and she's being used to being cuddled by me. Like every 2 minutes, sometimes she said, Mommy, top. She was like, oh, too much kisses. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm always kissing on her. I'm always hugging on her. I'm always telling her how much I love her, how much she's beautiful, you know, mm-hmm. Because I want her to be confident and be comfortable with herself. Mm-hmm. Because at one point, I don't know if it's her brother and her cousins, they used to keep telling her how she's ugly. You know, keep telling her that she's ugly. He's cruel. Mm-hmm. Her brother have issues. And I don't understand why his mother, with all this stuff that is going on, his mother still have her son there. Because if he does my daughter anything, he's going to go to jail. So how stupid are you being as a mother too?
Right.
She's being very stupid. I don't care what the father is telling her. With all of this stuff coming to public, if I was in her position, I would have moved my son out of that situation. You're waiting for something to happen when you can't help him. I don't know who like, I don't know. I don't know what's the matter with the family. I don't know what's the matter with them. And she as a mother, regardless how you feel about me, I didn't break my ex-husband up with her. I didn't even know if they were still in a relationship. Well, now you have him back for yourself. I don't care. The main thing is the children involved. Because if her son does my daughter anything, that to the point that the police have to get involved, he's going to go to jail. Move your child out of that situation. Move him out of there. He's 17. My child is only 5. Move him from there. He's shaving up her head, all her hair from behind her head, all of this stuff, shaving up her eyebrows, and all of that. Why you think that is okay? It's not okay. One time he cut her, and then cut her, trying to shape up her head, lines it up like a man, and cut her. And you want to tell me that she bumped her head?
And the courts allow this. They actually entertain this behavior.
Yes, they ignore all the pictures. They ignore all the marks. Like the gal, Patricia Weird, said, all she was concerned about what I was telling the father. She didn't have time to watch it, no picture. She had the opportunity to look at those pictures. Did she look at the picture? She didn't even mention the pictures.
She's condoning child abuse.
Yes. So if anything, they all conspired. They all conspired.
And what people need to know, as you said, vindictive. The judge has gotten vindictive. That happened to me as well. I'm sure other parents are starting to notice their judges are becoming vindictive. And, I had prayed for months and months for God to remove the judge from my case. He was just doing so much damage. He was entertaining 3 topics at the same time. Who does that as a judge? He was entertaining custody, child support, and a pension fund. He'd go round and round. It was like a circus. And God did remove him as I prayed. He ended up with pancreatitis and he died.
Yeah. You have no, I'm telling you, people don't know who you are, and they don't know the relationship you have with God. They don't know the power of prayer, but that's not your business if they don't believe. You understand? I know the power of prayer. I grew up with a praying grandmother, and she was so humble. My grandmother would pray and pray even up until her death. I watched her one time. She was praying, and she was telling God how she wanted to die. And exactly that's how she died, a peaceful death. Peaceful, just so she asks to die, to God take her home. That's exactly. And I am telling you, since this situation, it's like I sense her spirit a lot around me. Reminding me to pray. You pray. And I am going to pray. So whatever happened to them, but I'm telling you that they didn't think about the situation. They're not thinking how they're affecting my daughter. This shouldn't be about anything else. Who don't talk about you being vindictive because I'm on a podcast talking about what the wrong things that you're doing? You have a position to do a job, do it and do it right. And like my grandfather always taught me, you're in a job, you do it with integrity.
Right.
You don't abuse your power. You don't abuse your position. But people fail to realize title and position are temporarily. You can be removed. And they will be removed. They will be removed in not a name, but in Jesus' name. I mentioned it today. They're all going to be removed from their position because they're making this about them and not about the child. They're not making it about the children. They're not thinking how they're affecting my daughter. I know she's going through it because she's not seeing me. But like I said, I don't want to go to the center and put her through that again.
Right.
And I could remember the one when, a year ago when we started at the center too. My daughter would scream. She was pulling on everything, trying to grip everything that she could get her hands on just not for them to take her through that door to take her to her dad's car. I could remember the supervisor, Tia Tucker, from the Child Inc. Center. She had such an attitude, and she grabbed my daughter and pushed and went through the door with her, and they spent like 20 minutes to half an hour trying to get my child in that door. She was kicking, she probably bite her too, who knows. My daughter fought her, and they still push her in the car.
And they violated her Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights.
She still pushed her in the car. So you can imagine, she was only 2.5, 3 then. She's 5 now. You could imagine what's gonna happen. And I'm telling you, if she's gonna fight and they grab her like that, I'm probably gonna be in jail, because this is the time I'm gonna react. So for all to prevent all of that, I don't want to go to the center. I don't want to re-traumatize old wounds with my child, and I don't want to get myself in a position where I'm going to be arrested because anybody grab my child and push her in any car, or she don't want to go.
You know, I mean, that's assault and battery to your daughter, to grab her and shove her around.
Yeah. So that's what you do. Because when I go to the center, they said if the child is crying like that, they would not force them. They would reassess. They never did. And I sure in the notes, they never, because every time when my daughter father come to the center, she would run outside sometimes. Oh, she going to talk to him. You know, you're getting too personal. You're supposed to be neutral. And she was never neutral. She was in contact with his attorney. Like I said, his attorney had her hands in everything, and everybody was contacting her. Every single body.
Well, you know, these family law attorneys, and some of them are, you know, there are some good ones out there, but for the most part, you know, a lot of them aren't. They're in it for the money. It's not in the best interest of the child. It's in the best interest of their pocketbook. And
this is Laura Brooks. Like I said, she had my ex had her for the last 4 years, and he's not working for that much money. So she is just in it for the money. She didn't care nothing about nobody's child. And I'm gonna go back. A conversation that I heard with her, same Laura Brooks, and another attorney that I had, I'm not gonna mention his name, with the passport case. They were discussing in front of me about another case they had. So they already decide how they're gonna handle this case. And I just watch at him, and I know that I didn't want him anymore. Because if you sit in there to wheel and deal with her, how y'all gonna end this case and what you're gonna say in court and what he's gonna say and how y'all gonna present the case, that's exactly what he was gonna do to me. That was exactly what he was gonna do to me. So I know he was no good. So when he come and asked me to continue with my case, and I told him right there and then, no, I did not hesitate. I said, no, this is not a joke. Children are not toys. You're playing with their mind. But then my daughter have such a light in her that they're not going to dim it. She's a blessed child. She's a gift from God to me. And nobody's going to dim that light. And no other woman that think that they're going to be a mother to my child, they will not be comfortable being a mother to my child as long as I live. God gave me her. I am the one who carried her for 9 months. I'm the one who breastfed her. I am the one who has scars to show her entrance into this world. No other person would ever be her mother. In no other name but in Jesus' name. And the father, he thinks that he alone should be a father. Nobody stop you. I don't even know where this comes from. Like you feel that I should not have no say in this child. You change my name, take my name off her medical, like she don't have a mother, like I'm just dead. Even to the daycare now, since this happened, you know, they have the tadpole thing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Like when you, they use a tadpole app to show when the child go into the daycare and when they leave, and like little activities they do during the day, and they would take little pictures of them and stuff like that. He blocked me from that. So for the last 2 weeks, I mean, I see the notes, but I'm not seeing a picture of her. And that's okay, because I have so many pictures of my daughter. I told you before that I take so many pictures because growing up in Guyana, we didn't have cameras as prevalent as now. So I take all type of pictures and videos. I have probably over 5,000 or more pictures and videos with my daughter with different things that I made, you know. He didn't have none. I could remember in one of the cases that we had, is the same Laura Brooks asked me to she want 200 pictures and videos or whatever that I had with my daughter because her father had none. I didn't give her. I did not give her. I did not give her. He had the opportunity just like me to build memories. And I used to, like when I take pictures and videos and funny things, I used to share pictures, even though he didn't talk to me or anything like that. I used to share pictures and videos with him. And once I see that, you know, you start using stuff against, I just stop. Get your own pictures. When you visit, get your own pictures. So for her to come and ask me for 200 pictures and all of that stuff, he didn't have anything. He didn't have anything at all. But they're creating such an environment that could have gone in so many different directions. From Thanksgiving to now, I know this was going on a lot in the news, but of recent from Thanksgiving, I don't know if you're following the news with how many parents got murdered with custody, children got murdered, and here you are playing stupid games, creating that same situation that could have gone wrong in so many different directions. But I'm not going to do none of that because I'm going to live for my child. I am going to live for her. I am going to live for her. And I pray that whatever I'm saying and whatever I'm doing, I know I can't change the situation in my case or change what's going on with my daughter. But I pray that this change a situation for another parent in Delaware would never, ever have to go through this. Whether you're Black, white, Portuguese, whatever your race is, that they would never have to go through this ever again in Delaware. That it would bring awareness to what's going on to Delaware Family Court, and that changes would be made. And then all of Laura Brooks' cases would be removed from under Judge Natalie Haskins as long as she's a judge.
Now, can I ask, what nationality is Judge Haskins?
She is Black American. I'm Black Guyanese. I'm a Guyanese. So I want to know, and I often ask myself, if I was a Black American, if she would have treated me the same as my ex-husband. And you see, Delaware, is a small state. They all, when you run in certain circles, they all sit at the same table. You know, that's what I noticed from being a police officer. There's certain people, when you're in a certain position, they all run in the same circles. They all drink at the same.
Now, can I ask?
They all go to the same church, because I went to the same church I used to go to the church at Natalie Haskins attend. I'm very familiar with her pastor. I'm very familiar with the church. A lot of the police officers go to that church. A lot of the bigwigs go to that church. So I'm very familiar with her church.
Well, let me ask you this, because in my case, I changed my political party, hoping that would please the judge. You know, I don't know what Haskins' political party is, you know, because I
think she's probably Democrat. I want to believe she's Democrat.
Because in North Carolina, I'm following 2 cases and everybody is Republican. And they're doing the same thing to these people, these good fit parents, as they're doing to you. I
had reached out to one of the candidates that was Republican candidates that was running this year in Delaware for, I think, senator. And he set up a meeting with me, but never followed through. So I did all of that. Never followed through with the meeting. He listened to what I had to say in my intro, and he agreed for a meeting, but never followed through to have the meeting with me. Never.
And who is this? Who is this fellow again?
You know what? I'm gonna have to give you back his name. I think it was Lee Murphy. I think it was Lee Murphy. Yes. Yes, I think that's who I reached out to, Murphy.
Okay.
And I stand corrected if it wasn't Murphy, but it was a Republican. Yes.
Interesting.
He's a Republican. So, so I don't think party have to do with with anything. My thing is, you have children involved, think about the children. Think of how you're going to affect the children, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you worrying about somebody talking about you on a podcast? They never gossip about people. If they feel that I'm gossiping about them on the podcast, they never gossip in their life. I'm sure they talk about other people.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about other people just like that, behind their backs, whatever. But this don't have nothing to do with that. Who gossiping behind who or whatever. This is a serious matter.
It is. It's very.
This is a serious matter that this psychological could psychologically affect my daughter for the rest of her life. Look how much anxiety she had with just that short space of time when we were doing the exchange. You could imagine how much anxiety she's gonna have now. Like all of that gonna come back like a floodgate.
And
when
when you get your daughter back, you're gonna have to find a child psychologist that understands child psychological abuse, not one that only has a PhD in child sexual abuse only. It has to be one that actually understands child psychological abuse, because a lot of these psychologists don't even know about this.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And now they have, like I said, that now they have somebody who is not even a psychologist trying to play a psychologist. And this is not a game. It's not a game. And it's just sad, and it just behooves me that nobody at least reaching out. I don't care how you feel about me. Nobody's standing up to speak on behalf of my child. Like, what are you doing? Like nobody's talking to this judge.
And shame on her.
Who is our boss? Like, nobody's interceding. Or you're gonna just pounce on this mother. You're gonna pounce on this mother. You're gonna say how crazy she is, and you're gonna recommend that she goes to psychological evaluation. How much psychological evaluation could you send me to? Did you ever recommend any treatment? That's not your place. That's not your position. You're a judge. Stay in lane.
Who is the president judge in that courthouse? I don't know if you know offhand. Because
I had his name.
The president judge I had said that he had his judges, everyone was doing great in the courthouse. It's like he had no idea what was going on with these cases.
I had wrote the head judge, which I don't remember his name right now, like for the tip of my tongue right now. I had wrote to him, and he told me that I have to first let her know that I'm complaining about her. Then I have to complain to the Supreme Court, and I didn't follow the like they chastise me, like they prosecute me for complaining about her, or for him even paying attention to what's going on in this case. And this is Wilmington Family Court, and that's Wilmington Family Court.
Family court is destroying children.
They said that all my complaints was frivolous, right? That because I wasn't pleasing with her ruling. I wasn't pleasing with her ruling because how could you make a ruling? You don't have no evidence. You're just being reckless and harsh with everything because you have a problem with me. If she was in my place, she would have done the same and probably worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you, as a mother, you're fighting for your child, you're speaking up for your child, you're advocating for your child. She might have advocated different way, in a different manner.
Mm-hmm.
This is my way of advocating for my child, right? Because I'm a mother and I love her. And like any other mother, you don't want to see a child hurt. You don't want to see nobody take advantage of them or hurt them or abuse them. So what she as a mother, she wouldn't have done anything different. She would have done probably more. They have mothers that tell me, you are strong, because I would have been in jail. I would have murdered all of them. I had women who tell me straight that. Mm-hmm. I would have committed murder. I would have killed the judge. I would have killed his lawyer. I would have killed him. Yes, they had mothers who tell me that. They said, you are strong. I applaud you. Marineka, I applaud you. You are strong. Especially when you hear your daughter screaming. I don't know how you take it. I don't understand.
And you're very strong to come out and tell your story.
They're playing a serious, dangerous game.
Mm-hmm.
But prayers is strong too. Prayers is very strong. Both you and I know.
Yes.
Prayers are very powerful. Very, 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 very powerful. And that's what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to go to jail for them. They don't work it.
No.
They don't, none of them don't work it. None of them worked me going to jail and not having to lose my child in life entirety. None of them don't work it. None of them.
And what they also don't understand, as it says in the Bible, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he should be cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. Luke 17:12.
Yeah.
I remember that from Sunday school when I was a kid, and that always frightened me.
Mm-hmm. And they have a next, I'm not sure what, remember often, but I said, suffer the children not to come to thee. Suffer the little children not to come to thee. Suffer not the little kids. Why you suffering her? Why? Mm-hmm. Everywhere my daughter go, everywhere she goes, she's like a light to the room. There's not a person that she don't leave a mark on. Not a person that she don't make laugh. I could remember one time she said, Mommy, let's go to a restaurant. We went to a restaurant. And she was like, I need to give that woman a hug. She stopped this woman at the door and I said, Mom, my daughter want to give you a hug. And she said, yeah, sure. And she hugged her. And that woman burst into tears and she pulled me aside. She said, you don't know what I'm going through.
Oh.
She said, you do not have an idea. It's like my daughter have this gift of seeing things. Just like how she able to see what's going on and sing that song. That woman burst into tears. I don't even know her. My daughter just asked, Mommy, could I give her a hug? And that woman hugged my daughter. I asked her if it's okay my daughter give her a hug, and she said yes. And my daughter hugged her and she burst into tears. So there's no way that she goes that she does not bring light or bring something to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And for people to conspire together, people supposed to be helping her, especially the counselor, Christine Hines. You want to dim my daughter light because you want to involve in evil doing.
Mm-hmm.
And no good is going to come out of it. You do evil, it's going to come back to you. My child is a blessed child. She's a child of light. And I want her to, especially Christine Hines, who said that I don't know how to bond with my child. I want her to listen to this song, and I hope this song resonates with them, and it don't ever come out of their head.
Mm-hmm.
But Marianne, I really, pray to God. And the other night I prayed and I said, don't ever let me get that message that my child is dead. Mm-hmm. Because I live with that. I battle with that. And I could imagine. I could not imagine that parents who had their children murdered because they fought and fought and fought and they lived with the same fear. I could not even imagine. I battled with this for a long time. They take her from me, that a brother or somebody might hit her too hard.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you can't change. That's why I said his mom have the opportunity to save her son, and she knowing what her son is doing. The father know what the son is doing. Everybody's playing dumb, deaf, and blind. Mm-hmm. Until something happened and they won't be able. But I pray to God that it's not dead. I pray to God. I don't know how I would able manage to get a news like that. I would probably lose my mind then.
And they will all be held responsible.
And that's why I'm talking out about this. All the wrong that is going on in this case. Mm-hmm. And they talk about me disparaging the court. Laura Brooks swinging also much a false narrative about this case in this court thing. I could remember she even contempt me to court. The contempt me to court was 2021, March 25th, 2021. I would never forget. Natalie Haskins already ordered that the mental health evaluation that I did is due on April 1st. March 24th, they had me up in court, or 25th, for contempt for those documents, when the documents were due April 1st. And then she ordered me to pay Laura Brooks $157 or $75 or something, because Laura Brooks wanted she originally wanted $557 for the attorney fee for that day and some other nonsense, some paper that she signed for me that I didn't even know what she signed about. You're not my attorney. I don't even know why she's signing on my behalf. I don't even like to speak to that woman.
That's extortion.
I despise her.
Mm-hmm.
Because she have no integrity for a lawyer. She's dishonest. She's all about the money, and she don't care how she get her money. She don't care who she have to crush to get her money. She don't care who she have to destroy to get her money. She don't care who she have to devour to get her money. She's not going to devour me, and she's not going to devour my child.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I said, I can't change the situation by talking about it, but I pray that this situation, me talking, would help another parent or 10 parents, that they would never have to go through this in Delaware. And that the other judges know that people talking out, and they're going to get the grip of themselves, and they would not even try this.
You know, how have you had any parents reach out to you, and how can they reach you if they have any questions on things?
They can reach me at starpositive2019@yahoo.com. And yeah,
I'll put that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll put that in the podcast notes. But
or they could even reach me on my Facebook, the Peter Fall Colombo. Reach me out on my Facebook page, you know. And I pray that people talk about this, because this is not the first time they do this to any person. I am pretty sure they're too comfortable in their doing. They do too comfortable in what they're doing, in their actions. You know, I know some people are afraid to talk out. I know some people don't have means and ways, you know, because I didn't know about your show. I just meet out to Amy Payne, and that's how I get to know you. So not everybody know how to go about getting help. And they don't have a lot of programs in Delaware to help women. They don't have a lot of women program at all. Or they just don't want to get involved because this judge, and I said, Delaware is small, it's a small community. And, you know, certain people, they run in the same circle. I noticed that from being a police officer. So I know, I am aware of their circle. I'm aware of how they operate, because I was once a police officer. I went to the church. Like I tell you, they all go to the same church. They all run in the same circle. There's certain events, they all, yes. So I'm very much aware. I'm not just, I am just not your typical parent that wouldn't know. I know.
And parents need to know this, that in these family courts, it's highly incestuous. Everybody knows everybody. They're all at the same drinking hole. And then they all go golfing together, and then they go back to the bar or the club and drink some more.
Correct.
And
so
I want
to, very much aware.
Yes. I'm going to have you back on this podcast for another update. And don't jump off. Slam the Gavel is a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these family courtrooms that perpetuate child psychological abuse and parental alienation. I'm your host, Marianne Petrie, author of Dismantling Family Court Corruption, Why Taking the Kids Was Not Enough, and Cry Out for Justice, Poems of Truth. Please join me again with Marineka Bowman in the future and other exciting guests. Thank you for your courage, Marineka.
You're welcome, Marianne.